So today we're going to be talking about Twitter and how to use it in your business. I've been requested this video quite a lot recently, so I figured I would whip my camera out and make it really quick for you. So 10 tips on how to use Twitter in your business. So the first 5 tips are actually setting it up and what you need to do and what you need to take into consideration when you're setting it up. So first thing to go and set up Twitter is to go to twitter.com. And as you can see on the screen here, you literally click on the sign up button there on the right hand side, I think for you. And basically you go through the steps. Now you go through the steps, you sign up with your email account, you put in a name, you put in a username, and that username is going to be what people identify you as through the whole of Twitter. So basically there's 5 things that you need to take into consideration when you're setting Twitter up. And the first thing is, as we just mentioned, the username. That username is what people are going to go and search for or follow you by. So mine is Michael's Tech Bar, so if you want to go follow it, go check it out. But basically I post on there quite often. So basically the first one is your username, which is very important. It's your identification. Pretty important. Second one is your bio. So your bio is like a little blurb underneath your username that tells people short who you are, what you're about. Sort of like a little description of who you are. So that's important. The third thing is obviously your profile picture. People want to see who you are, what you're about. Take a photo of yourself, put it in your Twitter profile picture. The next thing is your cover photo. Your cover photo is basically your billboard. So if you're going to put a picture on your Twitter cover, make sure it relates to what you're doing. So for me, for example, if I show you here on my screen, you'll see that my Twitter bio cover photo is my social media behind a laptop sort of thing, because obviously I do a lot of online stuff, so having a laptop there pretty much defines that I am portable, on the move, and up to technology. So that's sort of like a little thing there, but I basically have my social media right there in front of everyone so that people can jump onto my Twitter page, they can see what my social media is, they can follow me. So that's important. It's a billboard. You want to get a message across straight away. My message at the moment is to get everyone following all of my social media. So that's the bio link. So the last thing that you want to remember when you're setting up your Twitter account is your pinned tweet. Sorry, I'm just spinning around in my chair right now. So you can pin a tweet that you find is very important, that you've just tweeted out there that you want everyone to see. So the first thing that people see when they come onto your page is your pinned tweet. So for me, I don't have one at the moment, and that's my own stupid fault. I actually took one down just recently because I wanted to change it. But basically, it's kind of like your introduction, first impression kind of tweet kind of thing. So you want to make sure that you have something decent pinned up there, so something that's going to be relevant to your niche. So if you're doing sport, you want to have a tweet relating to sport that people can get hooked on, so that when they do come to your page, it's the first thing that they see, so it's the first thing that hooks them in. So between your cover page, your cover image, your display picture, and your pinned tweet and your bio, you want to be able to pretty much, in the space of like 5 seconds of that person coming to your page, you want them to see who you are, what you're about, and what you tweet about all in one go. So very important there. So that's the 5 steps of actually setting up your Twitter account. Go to twitter.com and click on sign up. And that's the easiest thing. That's the easiest thing to get started with Twitter. So next we're going to talk about the 5 things that you need to do to actually start with Twitter. The 5 tips that I'm going to give you to get started with Twitter. The first one is that everyone says that you need to use hashtags, but to be honest, and from Twitter themselves, use no more than 2 hashtags in what you post, because you're going to get spammy. People aren't going to want to look at your tweets because they're full of blue writing. In fact, I'm even starting to experiment with not even putting any hashtags in, and you're like, whoa, how are people going to see your content? Well, I've got a different strategy. I'm going to use a paid boosting sort of a strategy, not boosting essentially as you see on Facebook, a different kind of strategy. playing around with that, so stay tuned. I will release that information when I get it perfected, and we'll get to that. But anyway, the point is that less is more. So having a maximum of 2 hashtags in your tweets are kind of what you want to aim for. So before you get on the jump on the bandwagon of hashtags, just make sure you keep that in mind, because Twitter themselves, they suggest that, not me. So just saying. When you're actually posting your tweets, make sure you keep it simple. You have a certain amount of characters. Make sure you get the message across by keeping it simple. Because honestly, Twitter is a fast exchange kind of a, platform. You're not really looking at long content here. You're looking at short content where you're just sort of like interjecting here and there really quickly. So make sure you keep it short, keep it simple, and use a little amount of hashtags as possible. So the third tip that I have for you is to use graphical content, so GIFs or pictures. Not a lot of I'd say about 50% of the time, depending on the post, I would be using either a GIF or a picture with a high quality image, just because you want to put the intention across that you're a high quality Twitter page. It's very important that you do that, but it's also important that you keep it at a good balance. Because if you, again, are only posting pictures, only posting videos, you're going to get this feeling of you're too spammy. So you need to have a diversification of different posts. So you want to have some video, some pictures, some GIFs. If you want to get into GIFs, you don't have to. They're just moving images. And then mostly you want to have short worded posts. Sorry, I'm losing my understanding here. You want to have short posts, simple, 2 hashtags. That is the essentials of posting on Twitter. The fourth thing, and the most important thing, I feel, is polls. Poll your audience. Have you want to sort of, the fundamentals of Twitter is using it for polling your audience, because it's a short, quick exchange of information. You want to be able to use it for polling your audience. So if you have a massive audience, if you have a small audience, as long as they're engaged enough to respond to a poll, you want to make sure that you're getting all the information that you need from that person. So for me, for example, I want to post out what is the most important strategy for your business in 2018. Is it posting on Twitter? Is it posting on Instagram? Is it posting on Facebook? And people would obviously vote for that, and then we can go from there, and you can create content via that way. So if you're stuck for content, poll your audience, man. Like if you're at a talk and you're in front of like 100 people, like I've done a talk recently and I was in front of a bunch of people, and basically what I should have done is whipped out my phone and got Twitter out and gone, guys, I'm posting this poll on what subject to speak on. If you want to respond and we can find out what the majority of you want to hear, if you want to hear about social media growth, if you want to hear about paid advertising, if you want to hear about personal branding, go check out my Twitter and vote on the poll. We'll check it in 5 minutes, and whichever gets the most votes, then we will go for that particular subject. So that's something that you can do, because it's really, really quick. People can just whip out their phones, they go to your Twitter page, they just vote, you get an instant response, and you can survey your audience and get the feeling of what they want to see. And that is really, really powerful, especially when you are growing and you're not sure where to take your direction and you're not sure what your audience is, what they're asking for. So for me, for example, this video, especially how to use Twitter in business, has been requested by a lot of people. So I'm making the video because it was requested. Simple as that. Ask a question, get a response, then you know what direction you're going in. That is what the fundamentals of Twitter are. And it's very important to poll your audience. You can do it with Facebook if you like. You can, but Twitter is the better place to do it because it's a lot quicker. There's a lot of people are on Twitter, depending on your target audience. I'd say generally a lot of people have a Twitter account and they will be following you if you tell them to. So use it to your advantage. It's a very, very strong tool. I'm going to be growing my Twitter very soon. Like I said before in the first part of the video, I'm going to be using different strategies. I'm going to see which one works the best, and then I'll be letting you guys know what my results are. So the last thing is that you really want to be engaging with other people in your niche. So if you're in weight loss, or if you're in diet or cooking or anything like that, go follow people that are in the same niche and retweet and interact with their tweets. Like them, retweet them, reply to them, because it does show up in your feed and it shows up in their feed as well. So their followers will find your account, and likewise the other way around. So very, very important for growth, organic growth, if you either retweet, like, and reply to other people's tweets that are in your niche. So that is the top 5 things that I can give to you on how to actually use your Twitter account. So if you look at the first part of the video, we talked about how to set up your Twitter account. This part is actually using your Twitter account.